Luka Nation. So you guys know this. Born in '89, grew up in Philly. The answer, Allen Iverson, was that dude for us. You know, he changed the game. He put Philly on the map. And I think I was in sixth, seventh grade. It got really popular. So first there was those zip-up shoes that Reebok came out with. But then the ones that hit were the Question. And everybody was rocking them. And I've said this before. I think of Iverson. Like, Iverson was player empowerment before there was player empowerment. And I always wondered, what would he be like if he played today? Jason Silva, we've gone back and forth. He's been a member of our audience for a while. It's someone that I respect a lot. He works at Reebok. He approached us. He's like, hey, we're doing this cool collab with Panini. And we'd love for you guys to get involved. And I said, I've seen posts about it. Amazing design. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it, as always in the hobby. But come on the show and talk to us about it. Why did you do it? All that stuff. So today we have Jason Silva on. He's going to share a little bit behind the scenes of that. The shoes and the Iverson cards that came out with the Panini Reebok collab. We're also going to do something because I feel guilty. I have a lot of guilt, guys. When we get these influencer packages, I'm like, man, cool. I love these. But I want you guys to get an opportunity to get them. So we gave away the Arena Club plaque. Congratulations. We're giving away a pair of sneaks, never worn, still with the tag, size 9.5.
Well, let's correct them. The left shoe is going to be a 9.5, and the right shoe is going to be my 14. So it's going to be a weird. We have to pick the right person to give this away to. You give away one, I'll give away another. That way, we can each keep one up on the, up on the mantle here. It'll be the backdrop. That way, it'll be a weird looking dude who
you just Kareem 8 to 8.5 me again. You are much bigger than me, Cage, in every shape and size.
Am I?
Well, I mean,
you guys find your doppelgangers, and they each wear one as they walk around together. So
I like it.
An idea. Hey.
All right, you're hired, Jason. You're part of the network now. We need idea people like you.
Jason, so talk to us. How did this collab originate? Like, what was the idea? Was the insemination? Like, what was the idea from?
Yeah, so to my understanding, because I've worked on this primarily from a marketing, storytelling standpoint, starting back in late 2020. But we at Reebok are constantly looking at collaborations in the space that make sense, whether it be on basketball product or otherwise. And many of us have a finger on the pulse of the collectibles market, and some of us, like myself, are super into cards, and we're seeing the energy building around late 2020, early 2021, sports cards and Panini. And we just had at the higher levels, there are always these connections in big businesses. So someone from our senior leadership team had a good connection with Jason and Scott and the team at Panini, and just started a conversation of like what a Panini and Reebok collaboration could look like. And it seemed that there were a lot of, from what I understand, synergies, not only from just like being two iconic sports and collectibles brands, but that's what I'm sure to talk about a little bit further. Synergies between the Prism brand from a cultural standpoint, kind of transcending Panini, transcending cardboard per se, and Allen Iverson and what he's done beyond the basketball court. And I know we'll talk about the Question model a little bit, but that is a true representation of who AI is and what AI was able to do off the court culturally. So I think it was just a lot of synergies. And then from there it was like, all right, what's the story we want to tell? How do we want it to look? And you kind of see that, obviously, fast forwarded 2 years later today, with us announcing the collaboration and officially this week, and showing the shoes, the full collection of footwear and apparel for the first time.
So we'll get into the details here, but where could people go if they're interested in just learning more?
Yeah, so I mean, you're seeing. So I'm primarily PR, so my job to do on traditionally for Reebok launches like this to pursue stories and media coverage. So you can find more storytelling and details around the collaboration on like Hypebeast and Sneaker News and some of those publications, as well as great hobby platforms like Lucas Tigers Bronze. So all of we're storytelling. Name drop. We're storytelling to make sure that we're able to reach all of the consumers that this that this story should reach. But you can also go on news.reebok.com and find more. But hopefully, if I'm doing my job right, you don't have to look too far to find the information that you need.
We just did a whole thing last week or 2 weeks ago about creative pricing and creative storytelling. And Andrew's one of the most creative storytellers I know. But in my creative version of this Panini Reebok collaboration, I think we were a part of the brand behind the brand. Andrew, did you know that they have a tiger stripe one? You know they made a tiger stripe? I mean, that has to be.
It would be a mistake if they didn't.
That has to be us. I mean, they had to be sitting there saying, "All right, well, it's got a hobby shoe. We have to make a tiger stripe for Luka's Tigers and Bronze." I mean, that's what my creative pricing storytelling. Not that there's Prism that has a tiger stripe border of the card. That's mainstream storytelling. My creative storytelling is boom. It's us. So I'm gonna have to cop a pair of those.
Yeah. What did your wife say when you opened up the box, the influencer pack that you just got?
I showed them to her, and she said, "I can't wear them. They're too nice to wear."
No. She said they're too nice to wear for you.
Correct. Yes, that's true. But anyone else could wear them. For you, you could wear them. That's what she said specifically. She goes, you could try to grow your facial hair for years and not look as dapper as Andrew does. That matching the shoes, you could pull it off. I can't. That's what she said. I mean, it's true.
It's true. Jason, so why Iverson in the Nuggets colors? I know that's putting you on the spot, but why Iverson in the Nuggets colors?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. And I'll kind of rewind. I mean, whenever we're doing collaborations, whether it be in the collectibles market or skate, or we found that doing something from like a friends and family standpoint that's super exclusive. I don't want to use the word like manufactured scarcity, but similar to like what brands do in the hobby with first off the line product and make with working with breakers and stuff like that, like having consumers see those super rare, limited products from a forthcoming collection as it's a successful marketing tactic, transparently. So what we wanted to do to like not only like do something special for collectors and AI lovers and Reebok fans and Question fans, but to generate some scarcity and some hype around the launch, was to take a sneaker that we have relaunching this year in the Iverson's 2007 Question Mid Denver Player Edition model, which when we do revive it, it's always like one of the most coveted Question silhouettes that we try to make as close to the original as possible. So to kind of drive some energy around that, but also like fold in the Prism story and Panini collaboration, we figured that why not like put a Prism flip on that and use that as the price, sort of like high end esque. So that's what you saw roll out, I think, starting 2 weeks ago. Was that sort of like Blue Dazzle Gold Rush Prism flip on his 2007 Denver Player Edition Question Mid, which was super successful. And it's like Cage, you were just talking about it. It's a really compelling shoe. We have seen people wearing it, but personally, like that's one that's just going to live on my shelf. And then in tandem, as you may or may not have seen, I know you guys saw, we developed a few packs, 100 to be exact, of limited edition cards, including that Mile High Gold Rush Gold Vinyl Iverson card with some beautiful Gary Land imagery, who was his a photographer from back in the day. So really cool story that came together. I know it's a long way of answering.
No, I mean, listen, it leads us into the next kind of thing, right? I mean, I think sneakers, the sneaker culture, card culture, there's an obvious tie-in, there's obvious synergy. I mean, Prism God, who we've had on our show, does the Culture Collision show, and Andrew went there and played basketball, and they have sneakers, they have cards, Jason knows, he's a listener, so I don't even have to tell the story. Jason knows the story. He knows all about the airport in Atlanta, the dogs, he knows it all, he knows the whole deal, and I love it. I love every minute of it. But
I could sub in at any point,
you got it. Just take it over right now. No, so
he's gonna put you on mute. He's gonna put himself on mute.
No, not at all. I mean, my question, which it's always long, you're a listener, you know that, is you just went right for it. You didn't say, all right, you know what? The collector base for cards and sneakers are kind of similar. They're going to get it. It's Prism. You guys made cards. One, is that just like a limited time thing, or two, could there, from the card guy in me, right? Because I got some fun sneakers, but I don't consider myself a sneaker head. Is there a future for continued collaboration in cards? Because I think they're pretty cool. Andrew, did you see the cards? I mean, cards are really cool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're constantly like taking learnings from, you know, what's currently rolling out and what, you know, to translate those to what might be something in the future. Obviously with, I hate to say it, but like supply chain and calendars and stuff moving around, you never know what's going to be able to work. But yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm proud. I'm really proud of how the cards came out. I know not every single one of them has been exposed at this point. Like you won't really see them until consumers start to open them. We didn't build like a full checklist, but yeah, I think that was a focal point to this. I mean, it was all built around the shoe first and foremost. Like our product team did an amazing job bringing like those 3 unique and I guess 4 iconic prism parallels onto the question mid and question low. It all started there, and the cards were meant to be like a nice add-on, but we all just got really excited, right? And Panini was like such a good partner and so flexible with us. And I will say that I will note, and this is kind of what I'm talking about with learnings, the cards themselves are not Prism. So while this is a Prism story, again, due to supply chain, materials shortage, etc., like we took Prism inspiration and used the materials that we had on hand, not on hand, but available to us to build these Prism inspired cards. So the base set are foil and hollow foil premium card stock, whereas the chase cards, autos, patches are more built into that Optichrome Prism-esque material. So it's still a really amazing experience, but that's like one of the things that, you know, if we were to do this again, we would really like drill into that and make sure that we had the time and you know, bandwidth necessary to really build like a beautiful Prism set. And then like looking at the imagery, it's really beautiful imagery. I mentioned Gary Land. He was AI's longtime photographer from back in the day. Like we were able to work with him and pull out some really beautiful imagery. But when you bring, you know, Reebok into the mix with Panini, it's like you can't necessarily, due to limitations, utilize trademarks and stuff that Panini may have been able to use. So we had to get creative with photography. There was a lot of that. So I think, yeah, like long story short, super excited about the cards, and there may be a chance for us to do something again down the line. And we'll be able to take a lot of learnings from that, but it's still like going to be an amazing experience for the consumer. And that's the whole point.
So there's no checkups, just so, and then I'll give you my idea in a second, because, you know, I have some fun ideas whenever we talk. They're usually organic. They come off the top of my head after, you know, hearing about the backstory. First thing I learned is it's amazing. We just open the box and say, wow, what a cool looking card. But all the things you just talked about that don't get thought about, all the things that go into it, right? All the, you know, the licensing issues, the production line, I mean, all that fun stuff. And yet the end product was amazing. So 100 of these out, how many like packs of cards? Just the same 100?
Yeah, so for the friends and family that you're referring to, there's 100 of those, serial number to 100 sneakers, nothing more, nothing less. And that was kind of the purpose of that friends and family. We wanted it to be limited but transparent. For the full collection, so for the Question Mid Tiger Prism, which is that white Tiger Prism model, that is kind of the most widely available. And there are, I want to say, upwards of 20,000 units of that model between adult and kids globally. And those will all ship with base cards, or sorry, 2 out of 3 odds. My mistake, because some product due to just
60% of the time, you're going to get a card every time.
Yeah. I don't want to misspeak because due to some, you know, again, calendar shifts and stuff like that and distribution challenges, a pack didn't make it into every single box of shoes globally, and that's just something that we need to be transparent about. So with the majority, it's 2 to 3 odds of sneakers will receive a pack. So for that Tiger Prism, you'll get a foil base card and then a Tiger parallel of either that base card or a variation of the base card with an opportunity to hit a serial number, an auto, a patch, or a patch auto. Same sort of experience for the blue rookie low signature question. Same sort of opportunity, but within that box, you'll have the opportunity to hit the blue prism parallels or blue parallels, if you will. So it's dependent on which model you purchase. And then the question mid Black Pulsar, there are only 2,350 of those made globally. That's a nod to AI's 23.5 point average in his rookie season. And in those, those are the only purchases with which you'll have the opportunity. So cool thing though. I mean,
it's awesome. It's gamified. It's a game. It's like pack odds. It's amazing. I love it. I mean, it's taking some of the best things from cards and putting them into sneakers. I mean, it's really cool.
Right. And shout out to Panini. Like they were really adamant about on-card autos, and while we weren't able to, unfortunately, get access to a game-worn AI jersey to cut up and put into cards, we were able to get some really nice player-worn stuff. So player-worn material and on-card autos. I know that's been a hot topic in the market for a while now. So I think that'll be a good experience for the consumer.
I'm curious Cage's idea. I also have an idea, but it's simple to me. You're bringing sneaker culture to cards and cards to sneaker culture.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great overlap. What I would do instead of doing it with everyone, because obviously these things, as they go forward, there'll be a broader release. I mean, these sneakers are going to be very popular. I mean, these shoes are going to be popular.
Bowl is next.
Well, Reebok has some great athletes, but if you're going to continue to take the card thing over and your marketing stuff, Jason, like you said, you promote these things, you send out this limited kind of release, you name it. I remember before numbered cards, the precursor to that was called first day issue. And they've kind of stolen some of that with the first off the line and that kind of stuff. And first off the line is a success, right? And people pay money for it, and they're there. Like, I would almost do a first day issue or first off the line release of the sneakers, like the release day version that gets shipped to the store first, and those have the cards in them. So you have to be there buying them first. You have to be like in the store that day, their release. And then after that, you could buy the shoes, but no cards. And then, the cards become something that helps defray the cost of the shoe. And, that probably helps the secondary market value of it and the whole 9 yards. And like Andrew said, you're going to wind up having, people come in, buy the sneakers just for the cards and vice versa. So, I mean, it's definitely a cool interplay. I mean, I can tell you how many times my son tells me to go to McDonald's drive-thru. He likes the nuggets and fries, but he likes the way they taste a lot better when they got Pokemon cards in the Happy Meal. You know what I mean? So
the key to McDonald's, Cage, is ordering fries with no salt. That's if you're going to tell people the truth. No salt, so you get the fresh stuff.
You gotta get a baked potato. Get a baked potato.
Why don't you just tell people to smoke a Philly's blunt by itself?
I didn't say that.
Fun stuff in it, Andrew. Fries with no salt. Come on now.
You put salt on your own so that they have to deep fry them fresh. Sometimes the fries are staying around. You need the fresh fries, and then you put salt on later. It's obviously not salted fries.
I don't know, man. I like the old oil, the old grease, like at the end of the day. Just yesterday's 3 days ago's grease. Like, I'll take it. Let's go. It's got the flavor.
Jason, 2 questions for you, and we'll let you run. 41 karat gold. What is that for?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's funny that you asked. I was kind of anticipating that question, just throwing it up on.
It's like I just made it up, so now it's like I get to be creative. I'll just make something up.
Yeah, no, I got like a brand identity issue. I don't know. I'm just like super OCD about it. I have my own like personal Instagram account, and I have my card account, which I like finally jumped into starting. I think maybe last year around this time, and this is like the 6th username that I've had, and like I built up a little community. Like I had some really good like F1 friends and stuff that F1 card collecting community that I was building, and then I would change my name. I would have to be like, yo, I'm this now, by the way. So I've landed on 41K gold. My father passed last year around this time. His number was 41 in football. So, and just a number that I've always associated with him. So I've kind of now like taken ownership of 41. And then my last name's Silva. So it's like gold 41K on the Silva, gold playing on Silva. And then the K it's just, kind of connecting.
So there's a lot. Condolences from all of Luka Nation. Let's show Jason some love. It's at 41K gold. That's your sports card page, right?
Yeah, that's it. And I'm ripping posting all sorts of different. I have like collector's ADD. I'm collecting everything and under the sun, so you'll see it all on there. I'll do some like mail days and breaks and stuff once in a while, but I appreciate that.
So I have an idea. You tell me what you think, and then I have a question, kind of like a cage match question. We'll let you run.
Of course.
Something I love that Panini did with Kobe is in 2019 they came out with like this series where there was iconic photography throughout his career. And I think Iverson has so many career moments. Like I'm thinking of the crossover on Jordan, step over on Ty Lue, and kind of doing the photography as photos of Iverson's career. I think that would be kind of cool. And Panini's done it 2019 Kobe tribute set is what I think it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and those moments are iconic for AI. And and there are some others, like we were actually talking about it today, like some of the photography that exists in our archive, like that only like real like Iverson or Iverson fans would know about. And now that I think the relationship is there with Panini, whatever happens down the line, like we'll always have this kind of friendship, and we'll be able to be like a much better resource for each other because they're so historic in their respective market, and we're so historic in ours. So I think like there's so much untapped potential in both of our archives, and now we have each other as the resource. So if that's something that they want to do, I'm sure they'll hear this, and their wheels are always spinning, and they're super open. They'll have us as a resource to help out however we can.
Before the cage match question,
yeah,
suggestion: if you're going to use game used in the cards for AI, don't go with the jersey. Use the shorts because they're so baggy you can get a whole print run out of them.
You get more out of the shorts because then they got that. They had that kind of 2-ply as well, so you could technically.
That's it. You do like a whole 2350 print run. Boom, you're done.
No,
one pair of shorts.
Well, we saw plenty. You guys, I got to write this stuff down. I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Jason, when are you born? So these are so cool for me. Like, I know Jordans were the shoes, but like when we grew up, like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, everybody was wearing these shoes. And granted, I'm from like right outside Philly, so like there's that. But man, these are so iconic. I love that you guys came out. But here's the question: gun to your head, low or mid?
I'll confidently say low, which is weird because I'm like a mid guy in other shoes, like our Pump Omnizone. And I love like space boots, but with this particular model, I love the way it looks as a low cut. I don't know why, it feels right. But like the question mid will always be 1996 AI's first shoe, a representation of who he is, who he's become, like all of that. So what it means is a different story, but for me personally, from a style perspective, always go with the low, or most of the time at least.
It's funny, as an older person in the hobby, the most iconic Reebok moment for me is D Brown. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Andrew?
Yeah, he's the Marlins baseball player. After
that's D.
his
Gordon.
friend Hernandez, the pitcher, died in that tragic boating accident.
Dude,
D hit a home run.
Before the dunk competition became who's gonna steal it from Aaron Gordon, right? Before that, the dunks, people were like, okay, it was Michael Jordan, and it was Jordan and Dominique Wilkins, and then kind of this new breed came, and it was like, well, what are they gonna do? And I'll never forget D Brown in the dunk competition. He took a pause to pump his Reeboks during the competition. He pumped his pumps. And I was like, if Darren Ravel was on Twitter at the time, he would say how much that was worth in advertising money for Reebok at that moment. To me, that was like, it was one of these like brand crossover to the league, sports guys. It was one of these like, it's funny, we use the word iconic, but just an iconic moment that sticks with me because that's the Reebok pump moment.
Cage, have you seen the breaker who just pulled the 1-of-1 Dominique?
Yeah.
Was it immaculate?
It was a piece of the pump. I posted it on my page as one of the sickest cards I've seen. It was cool.
Was that recent or because I saw somebody?
No, that was like last year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting recycled, I think, from last year.
I know that's crazy. It was last year's product.
I mean, I've had the opportunity, thank whoever, like to work with D, and he's a big Star Wars guy, by the way. Some little known fact about D. It's been documented in interviews and stuff. But I guess like MJ came up to him after that and was like, he said something to the effect of, you just started the sneaker wars, right? I was like, all right, yeah, because that he did it before like almost every dunk. He was pumping his shoes up.
Yeah, this is how old I am. I remember when the pumps came out. I was in grade school. I might have been in 5th grade when it came out. And Reebok just grabbed the control of it because the first Nike one that came out, Andrew, it came with a pump. But you had to actually stick a pump like you were pumping up a basketball in the back of the shoe. And the Reebok one was a ball on the front of the tongue. And you were like, this is not even like I'm not gonna walk around school with a pump. And it was like, holy shit, like Reebok's legit
the
here.
cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, no, so no, and they were the sneakers back then cost about the same as what they cost now, maybe even more. I mean, I remember when the pumps came out, they were expensive, and this is like 1980s money here. So, but
Goldberg, I gotta ask you. I mean, are you more of a mid or a low cut guy?
Mid
Mid.
with basketball shoes for sure.
And growing up, because I have, like, were you a question or an answer guy? Like a zip up, like the zip up answer, or a question? Because I was.
Yeah, he's all about the questions. I'm all the answers.
Yeah, I was.
They call me the question master.
The way this works.
Yeah, I was an answer guy. I love that zip up. Such a cool shoe.
T-Mac got the zipper, right? T-Mac was with Reebok for a minute.
Yeah, I think he had a zipper. So lost on me.
Let me ask you one more question. What is something that the hobby does really well that you'd recommend for shoe culture to adapt? And what is something that shoe culture does well that you'd recommend for the hobby to adapt?
Wow, what a question.
He is. That's it. And here's your turn to be the answer. This is how this works. He's the question.
Something that the hobby does really well.
And popcorns are allowed. Let's say like you feel like you're drowning, you just popcorn at the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I give you like 30 seconds. Grading.
Grading. I would love to see grading of shoes. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to see that. Damn, I don't know. I mean, the first thing, there isn't, and I don't like the content is. I think it has a negative connotation when we just say the word. But I know, and maybe it's because I'm not a sneakerhead per se, but I know that I know exactly where to go when I want to get the hobby news. I have a great list of podcasts. I know where to go on YouTube. I know which breakers to follow. It does seem that content and content platforms are a lot more organized and transparent and effective in the hobby. Whereas in sneakers, it's you got the blogs. And there isn't a sports card blog, from my understanding, a sports card or TCG or trading card blog network, other than maybe some forums and stuff. But in sneakers, it's blogs, it's magazines, it's YouTube, reviewers and unboxers and haters, and it's a lot more it's a lot more fragmented from a content standpoint in sneakers, and maybe it's not applicable across the board, but that was just kind of the first thing that popped into my head. And then from a sneaker standpoint, again, this is just first things that are popping into my head. There's probably better answers, but the sneaker industry, footwear industry, sportswear industry is really good at branching out to other markets and industries and then welcoming new people. And I know it's a lot of it's bottom line, right? But expanded reach. But we are, as collectors, as flippers, as investors, as just a market hobby overall, very apprehensive to we don't want new people as much as we want the market to grow. We don't want new people, and we don't want more parallels, and we don't want flippers, and we don't want this and that, and we're constantly ostracizing each other. So it's I think just the hobby could be a little bit more welcoming and from a business and personal standpoint, if that makes any sense.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I think you're 100% right on both points.
Good question.
Luka Nation, that's another episode. One thing I do wish is instead of us camping out in front of Target to get product, I wish we'd camp out in front of hobby stores.
Well, what sneaker right now that Reebok made would you camp out for?
Well, I'm not a sneakerhead. You know that. I live in Florida. I wear sandals.
Birkenstocks with socks.
Yeah, what if we made...
What's made what I camp out for? I mean, there was obviously.
True.
There was a go ahead.
A limited edition Reebok scuba flipper.
Really?
I don't know.
See, there you go, Andrew. That's it. Am I wrong? Did they bring back a Shaq pump to Reebok recently? I'm pretty sure I got to get those because that was that was my shoe. That was my shoe.
Those the Shaq Attack. Those sold pretty well from what I understand.
The same old white, black, blue, the same color, the same. Wow, those are nice.
Yeah. Those are. I mean, I know there are some pairs still kicking around. But yeah, that was a big one. We're gonna continue to. I mean, we've we've done a lot on question, and there's definitely some fatigue in the market around the model. And we recognize that, and we listen, and we know we have a bigger archive to explore, whether it's Shaq, D Brown, some Blast, like whoever Emmett, whoever it is. So we're gonna continue. You'll see more of that unique stuff, I think, in the future.
I got an answer for you, Cage.
Nice.
So what I think is super cool, and this might happen, this might not. You'll tell me, but like, so I grew up. I would like my favorite soccer cleats were like these Mania cleats that were made, and I would camp out for unreleased pairs of those. So like if they made like the shoes that they made for Iverson the Question in 1998, if they have let's say 100 pairs still left, and now they're releasing them to the public, that would be cool to camp out.
Yeah, I camped out for Furbies back in the day. 1 or 2 Furby release with mom outside of Toys R Us, and also like outside of games.
Now we'll camp out in front of Toys R Us for V-Friends, stuffed animals. Amazing. How the world come full circle. Luka Nation, that's another episode.
All right, thank you guys.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luka Nation.